Welcome back. You're watching Power Talks. We are in conversation with Dr. Burdett Anderson Loomis, political scientist based in the US. Let's talk about the recent successful visit of President Bill Clinton to North Korea. How did President Bill Clinton manage to convince the North Koreans to release the two journalists?
Well, I don't think there's any question that Bill Clinton did nothing to convince the North Koreans to release the journalists. It's very clear from everything I've read that this was clearly set up in advance. The journalists were going to come home with him, and I don't think he would have gone absent that ironclad assurance. Now, obviously, something could go wrong at the very end, but I think that was clear from the beginning. So the key question is, what happened earlier on? How did the negotiations go forth? To what extent was the Obama administration involved? To what extent was Hillary Clinton involved? And I think that although you have a unofficial private citizen going, when someone is an ex-president, when someone is married to the Secretary of State, it's clear that there is a relationship to the official government. So I'm not sure everything has come out yet, but the negotiations were substantial. Hillary Clinton was involved. Al Gore was involved. John Kerry was involved. You know, two former presidential candidates, a former president, important people with long-term international ties. So I do think that this is an illustration for the Obama administration that its approach to having conversations, even in this one limited sense, can produce results. Now, we'll see if there's any connection to other serious, very, very difficult issues with North Korea.
But if a similar strategy is used in the future in a larger magnitude, will that be able to convince North Koreans for neutralizing the nuclear weapons?
You know, I think that anyone who suggests those two would be connected easily, the Clinton visit and negotiations on nuclear weapons, is probably not being very, very realistic. I'm certainly no expert on this aspect of American foreign policy, but from everything I read, the negotiations with the North Koreans will be very difficult. They've proven very difficult in the past. But I think the point with Obama is that he's willing to work at it, day after day. One of the things that I don't think the world sees about Obama is what a hard worker he is. This is not someone who has a beautiful family, can make a very good speech, but this is a guy who worked at creating one of the great campaigns in American history. He's addressing dozens of issues, and if you read about the White House right now, he's exhausting many of his aides in the White House because there's so much work to be done. So I think that Obama is willing to put in the work and to have his people put in the work. So in the context of broader relations with North Korea, probably not a great element, one thing, one time. But if the work continues, maybe in 2 years or 4 years or whatever, there will be breakthroughs, whether it's in relations between the United States and North Korea in a bilateral way or in the Six Nation talks or whatever.
During the primaries, it was expected that Hillary Clinton would be the next president of the United States. But when Barack Obama came into the picture, it was visible that there was a tension between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. And there were rumors that this would affect the strength of the Democratic Party. Was that true, or was it just a fix?
Obviously, the rumors that it would cause a split were clearly overstated. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton have very similar worldviews. They probably agree on 90 or 95% of everything, from health care to foreign policy, you name it. They're very mainstream Democrats who have worked for some time. I do think that Hillary Clinton expected to become the nominee. I think most people in the United States a year and a half beforehand would have thought that Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. But Barack Obama had one great opportunity that he seized, and he realized that this might be his time. And that opportunity was created by Hillary Clinton when she voted to allow George Bush to have the power to go to war in Iraq. And that alienated a substantial amount of Democrats. And that was the group that Obama started with and then built from. Early on, for example, he was not doing all that well among African Americans. Clinton was doing somewhat better. But when it became clear that he was a viable candidate, a real candidate, more and more African Americans. So absent that vote, I think Hillary Clinton would have won the nomination, number one, and number two, would be president. The second thing about the Obama campaign that's really noteworthy is that he created this incredibly expensive campaign and raised $800 million, far more than anybody could have expected. In 2006, we had a conference at the University of Kansas, and two consultants said, "Oh, the winning presidential candidate in 2008 will spend $500 million." And everybody said, "Oh my goodness, that's an immense amount." Here, Obama spent $800 million, and spent it pretty effectively, to tell you the truth. More effectively, ironically, I think, than McCain, who had much less. So I think that once Hillary Clinton gave Obama an opportunity, he took advantage of that opportunity. It wasn't foreordained. He ran a very good campaign. They understood the nomination process, strangely enough, better than Clinton. So John McCain would say, well, he doesn't have enough experience. Clinton would say he doesn't have enough experience. But when push came to shove, the Obama campaign often did better than the people who had the great experience.